Hi, I'm Jean DeVinny, and I'm a 30 plus year realtor here in Central Florida. I'm here with my partner, Edson DeFreitas, and together we make the New Day Real Estate Group at Kylan Realty. And we're here to talk to you a little bit about how to fight a low appraisal, the
Ooh.
dreaded low appraisal.
Hate when that happens.
Don't we
That
all?
phone call that you don't expect, that you
You
don't
don't
want to
want.
expect. We all been there,
Yes,
done that.
yes, and I know your parents. We had your parents home listed, and we have a recent situation with this and a low appraisal and fighting it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, the first thing is just not to think it's over when you get that phone call. Usually, it comes from the mortgage broker, or it's a text, or it's an email, and informing you that the nasty appraiser has not appraised your property at the purchase price. So at that point, you need to make a decision with your seller. Always involve your seller because you want them to know how hard you're willing to work for them and to try to fight this appraisal.
Oh my
But
God,
you need
there's
yeah,
a lot of work
a
involved.
lot
in
of
that.
work involved.
A lot of work.
Take it away, Edson.
I mean, first thing you need to do, of course, talk to your sellers and discuss what is going to be the best option for them. Some sellers, they will even be willing to pay for a second appraisal. A new appraisal will come, redo everything, and see if the second appraisal would beat the first one.
Right. Of course, once they would have to pay for that, but of course, you
Yes.
want to make sure that the mortgage company
Would
will
accept as well.
accept that as well. Yeah.
That will be the first thing. Some sellers, they don't want to pay the extra cost from a second appraisal because it is costly, unfortunately. So they try to do the
Review of the appraisal.
review of the appraisal, exactly. So first thing is,
And that's when the realtor goes to work.
oh
really
my
goes
God, that's
to
a
work.
lot of work. It's not just going on MLS, doing a normal CMA,
Because
and-
that's what the appraiser basically did.
but you need to call the pending properties to see when they're closing, if they appraise, if they're willing to share their appraisal with you. And you need to call one by one and get all of that.
And also pay attention in the MLS printout, the broker synopsis, that shows the seller's concessions. Because
Yes.
sometimes I have had it once in the past where the appraiser missed the seller's concession. And unfortunately, even though we were going to do a review, we realized that it wasn't worth the time or effort for the seller to pay for another inspection or for us to even do a review because the appraiser had made a mistake and actually one of his comps was lower because of the seller concession. So it always pays to do your homework.
Exactly. I mean, at least you got a good situation out of it.
Right.
It was bad, but it was not your mistake or your.
Or at least we didn't go to all the extra time and effort or trouble
Exactly.
or spend the seller's money.
On ours, unfortunately, we did the comps. We actually had to go towards up to 2 miles radius from the property that we were selling, just because we didn't have as much comps at the time. I mean, last year, 2020, nobody was selling,
Right.
nobody was buying it,
Right.
so we did not have as much comps. We did have some sales in the community. We have to call the realtors and check with them when they're gonna close, if it appraised, and all of that.
As I remember on one of them, it was going to close relatively soon, and it was a good comp. But
Yes.
unfortunately, it didn't close.
Unfortunately, they extended the closing for another 30 days. I
Now,
think
if
they
that
were
had
waiting
closed-
for someone to close before them.
Exactly.
So they won't have the
They
same
were
issue.
using they were using our sale, and unfortunately, none of that worked.
And you were trying to use their sale.
But I have had a situation in the past where a pending sale did happen. It was just 5 days from closing, and it was a very similar property in terms of square footage, year built, condition, everything. And we did present that to the appraiser, and he did use it, and we were able to get the appraisal value up, not to full purchase price, but close enough that we could negotiate with the buyer and the seller and get the deal.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it can happen. It's just, you know.
I mean, it depends on the market. It depends
Amen.
on a lot of things that is out of our control, unfortunately. I'll love to tell any clients that you want to sell your house for 500, even though there's worth 3, let's do it.
Let's do it doesn't work. Back in 2008, when the bubble burst, for those of us that were in the business during that time, prior to that, 2007, right at the end of that, which was one of the reasons that the bubble did burst, there were a lot of reasons, but that was one of them. The mortgage companies were actually allowing their appraisers to do rising market. They actually could add that to their appraisal because they realized that the prices were going up. Everybody was bidding over list price, much like they've been in our hot market. And every price and every closing seemed to be going up, up, up. So we had an upward market. And the mortgage companies were greedy in some people's minds, and they did allow them to do like an ascending market value to their appraisals. That's the only time I've ever seen it in 30 plus years in real estate.
And that actually doesn't help you, right?
No, the bubble burst, didn't it? And we don't want that to happen again, and I don't think it ever will. I truly don't.
Thanks God.
So, yes, thank God.
So okay, so going back to what the steps are. So basically, you need to contact your mortgage broker first. Talk to them. That you tell them that you wanna fight the appraisal.
Well, you
want a
tell your
second
seller
appraisal.
first, and then you get
Oh yes, after talking to your seller. Yeah, correct. And then you start working on the comps.
Right. Well, it also helps to talk to the buyer's realtor as well and let them get their feeling for how if their buyers are freaking, or if they're realizing that possibly there are mistakes. We all make mistakes, and appraisers are as human as the rest of us. And some of them are very, very busy right now. So if how the buyers are feeling about this, tell them the sellers are willing to get involved with this, and we are willing to get involved and do the work that's necessary. But we want to make sure the buyers are with us as well and know what's going on our side.
Exactly, because it's not even, it does not happen from one day to another.
Right.
Most of the times, get prepared. We had to do extension addendum, because we're not able to close within that day. Because I think they took 7 days to give us a response back on the appraisal.
That's right. It took. Sometimes these appraisal reviews can end up with us having to extend the closing date.
Yes.
And everybody's different, just like every mortgage company is different. I think there's one particular one that we're familiar with recently on your parents' house did take an additional 7 days.
I think it was actually even more. I think it was towards
so
like
too,
10
the more I'm
days.
thinking about it. It was a long time for us to wait, and our poor sellers and everybody biting their fingernails and saying, "Oh, what's going to happen?"
It
But
took
at
us
least
a
we
full
tried.
day, almost 2 full days, just to do the comps and calling every
Right.
agent, making sure everything was straight up.
And what we gave them was correct. That was
Yes.
important too, yeah. And
So-
in this case, the buyers and the sellers both wanted to try to make the deal.
Yeah, sometimes they don't even want won't even argue the appraisal. Try to see if the seller will lower a little and the buyer will come a
Yes.
little out of pocket as well. We actually had that on the deal. The seller did lower the price, and the buyer came out of pocket. I think it was 7,000. Yeah, it was overpriced on 14, and then we lowered 7, and he came with 7 extra.
Right.
So
Both
that's
parties
another
wanted to
possibility.
make it, but the appraiser just would not get it there. we really disagreed with him. We really thought that the comps did help us,
Exactly.
but
And,
he was adamant it wouldn't. And then the pending didn't close.
And
so.
the worst thing is, that happened, I believe, near February or September. No, March or February, right?
Yes.
The deal.
Yes.
And today, I just checked yesterday, we had comps today to close for the same house for the full price.
Right.
Back in the day, back there like 6 months ago, we couldn't just because of that. But now, prices are going way up, and
Now, if
appraisals
this
are
was
going.
2007, the appraiser would have given us rising market, and with the seller and the buyer making concessions, we probably could have made the deal.
I wish.
We both wish.
But not the 2008 part.
Yeah. So basically, what we're trying to say is, don't give up. If you get that dreaded call or text or email saying that the appraisal did not come in, you don't have to give up. Check with your seller. Check with the buyer's agent.
There are
Decide if it's
options.
worth it. There are options, yes. So think about it. Talk with the parties that are involved and see how they feel. And if they want you to fight and you're willing to put some time and effort into it to try to get to that commission, it certainly can turn out in a positive way.
Never give up.
Never give up. That's what in real estate or in life. So that's all about how to fight a low appraisal.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah.
Hope to see you guys next time for the next video.
Take care and goodbye.